Weapons is a new horror film written and directed by Zach Cregger, the same person who brought us the much beloved Barbarian a few years ago. This new movie tells the story of 17 kids who all disappeared at the exact same time. They were all part of one classroom, and the only people remaining are the teacher, played by Julia Garner, and one young boy who is traumatized by the event. The town is confused, blames the teacher for what happened, and everyone is just trying to figure out where these children disappeared to and why. This is a big and bold movie we have here. The picture follows 6 different characters, and the film is divided into segments where we follow one character per sequence, then switch to another character. Some crossover does happen, so you're seeing certain events transpire multiple times, but from different perspectives. It reminds me of 825 Forest Road in that kind of setup. At first we follow the Julia Garner character, then we follow Josh Brolin, which is one of the parents of the missing children. We then follow a police officer, a drug head, and someone else from the school. This is a movie that is trying to build a community and show how everyone is reacting to this strange happening. I think Julia Garner and Josh Brolin are so good in this movie. I absolutely love this premise, and the film has such a great pace to it in the first half. There are good sections of subtle horror sprinkled throughout the film. There's a great shot of a gun in the sky that has the time on it that all the kids got out of their beds and walked off into the night. The visual style of this picture is wonderful. I also think the film does a great job of balancing comedy in there as well. This is a serious picture in its themes, but it is not afraid to add levity when it needs to, so we don't feel like we are drowning in malaise all the time. So I appreciated that. If you just go with the film and let it tell its story, it is a good popcorn horror film. But the thing with this movie for me is that I think it is too ambitious. I know Barbarian was loved by so many people when it debuted, and I completely understand why. But I thought it was just pretty decent, and that's because the focus felt oddly balanced between mystery, terror, and character building. I had the same issue with Weapons as well. The fright in this picture doesn't feel organic and earned in many areas of the film and in many places, especially in the first half. There are 2 dream sequences, and I almost always hate those in horror films. I think they're cheap. I like the messaging they convey in this film, but I think they are cheap and are only there to give routine spooks that are required in horror films. There was one in particular that I knew was a dream sequence the second it started, and it goes on for about 6 minutes. And because of that, I was checked out from that part because I knew that there were no true stakes because it is only a dream. I do really like the entire cast in this picture, but 2 of the characters we follow I think have no purpose to the story. As I said at the start of the video, I know that it's a community building kind of thing, but one of these characters has a one-night stand with another character, and that served absolutely no purpose to the plot, gave us no insight into anyone's motivations for things, and just seemed like it was trying to be too hard to be Lynchian with that kind of stuff. If you want to do Twin Peaks style storytelling, you have to balance the horrific with camp and lightheartedness. And Weapons doesn't have the camp. The drug addict has no purpose in the story except for one discovery that could have been made by any of the other 4. I just don't think the 2 unnecessary characters added much to the story at all. And the fact that the last act has all 6 perspectives intersect but in a conveyor belt way disappointed me a little bit. I was still really on board once you understand what is happening and why it is happening, but the resolution has no reasoning behind it. We don't actually learn the answer to the question the film asks from the second the opening credits begin, and we hear a young child telling us this tale. I am sure that everyone is going to love this film, and I'm glad you will, but I have issues with this film the same way I had issues with Bring Her Back from earlier this year. 2 horror films that are trying to be great, but became too ambitious and didn't know how to end their stories properly. I would say the first 45 minutes of Weapons are exceptional. Then it lost me for about 30 minutes. Then I was back on board for the next 40 or so minutes. Then the ending began losing me again. So just like with Bring Her Back, I am severely mixed on this movie. But I am going to slightly recommend it because the style of the film, the mood, and 4 of the 6 perspectives work very well for me. I just wish that Cregger could have been more in control of his narrative, but maybe that's on me and he wanted a loose narrative where things are strange and sometimes unexplained. But we should just accept that and enjoy the things that do make sense to us. On that basis right there of going along for the ride of the mystery itself, I do recommend this. It's a messy picture, but one that I will say will likely stick with me. And the last 10 minutes are equal parts haunting and goddamn hysterical. I give Weapons a very marginal 3 stars out of 4. I would say that this film is better than Barbarian, but it has more issues because it is much more ambitious. I'm glad Cregger is trying these new things though, and hope that next time he can find a way to have all of his film be fun. But some people would say the same thing about Ari Aster as well. So keep doing what you're doing, man. And that is my review. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this, please like and subscribe. Here's links to my other videos. Follow me on social media if you like. And until next time, I am Ghost.